morning. Hi, how are you guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, good morning. Okay. So how are you guys doing this school year?
Doing okay.
It's okay.
I know it's a different sort of thing that we all got to get used to, but thank God for technology. And I'm so glad that we have Zoom, and I'm so glad that we've got Netflix and Prime Video and all these other things to keep us preoccupied while we're here in the house. So what I want to do today is I want to go ahead and go straight into what you guys can expect throughout the semester, give you an idea of how you can navigate the Blackboard course for the site, because this course is really going to require you to do a lot of independent work. And then also I wanted to go over your syllabus with you. And so I'm going to jump right into it. And if you guys have any questions for me afterwards, feel free to ask. In addition, we're going to meet on Wednesday of this week for me to just make sure that you understand everything that you are required to do each week, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Are you guys able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I am going to log into Blackboard just as you guys would. And I'm going to show you where everything is located for the course. Okay, so this is our course shell, and it's set up pretty simply. The main thing is that you're going to want to make sure that you access any announcements. The good thing about announcements is that in addition to you being able to see them here, announcements are going to go to your VSU email as well. And so anything that I send out that I want you guys to be aware of, any change in our schedule, any change in a due date, or anything like that, or even when there's a test that's coming up and I indicate that it's posted for you, then you're going to find this information or gain access to it under announcements. Another tab that I have here for you is content. And this content tab is an important tab because the content tab is where you pretty much have a comprehensive view of where everything in the whole course is located, all the key tools that you're going to need. So when you click on course content, then you've got about your professor, but then you've got your weekly readings in social entrepreneurship, and then you've got your social impact assessment project resources. For this class, you guys have an assignment that's called a social impact assessment. And what you're going to do is you're going to assess the financial and social contribution, viability, and strength of an organization of your choice. And it's going to be obviously a nonprofit or a social enterprise of your choice. There's some databases that I give to you guys in order for you to be able to do this, and I give you a very explicit outline so you don't have to guess what you need to do. We'll go over that in just a bit. But what you can also find here is your assignment drop boxes. So if you look here, then you've got your assignment drop boxes, and it's telling you all of the assignments that you have to do for the whole semester. I've got to update the due dates for some of these, and so I'll go over the couple of very simple assignments that are due for you this week. But on your syllabus, all of the due dates are accurate. So for example, you've got an online introduction assignment, which is super simple, where you pretty much just introduce yourself to me in the class. It's going to be due this coming Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And I believe you have your course contract that's due, which is another very simple, easy A assignment that's due for you guys by this coming Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Just in general, I wanted to just let you know that everything in this course is going to be due on Sundays at 11:59 p.m. All right, and so then also over here on this left tab, then you're going to see your syllabus link. That's important because it's entirely possible that there could be some changes to your syllabus. If I ever make any changes to your syllabus that are substantive, then I'll make sure that I communicate that with you via announcement, so that way you'll know what those changes are. But what I'll also do is I'll update the syllabus and I'll put the date that it was updated here. In the course of a semester, bar anything significant happening that changes the way that we deliver our course or anything like that, then you won't really have very many major or really any major modifications to the syllabus. I might notice something misspelled or maybe a date that's inconsistent with what's actual, that might need to be updated, and then what I'll do is I'll put that updated date here. But nonetheless, your updated syllabus is here, so you can download your syllabus and access it for offline use. But what I would suggest that you do is at least every 2 weeks to go ahead and check the syllabus here to make sure that there have been no changes. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open this syllabus, and then we're going to go over the syllabus in just a minute. Another really important thing for you guys to see over here on your left is your Zoom meeting link for the course. I know that you guys gotten an announcement from me. I don't know if you guys accessed the meeting link via the announcement or via this link here because you were in Blackboard. But we're going to meet every Tuesday and Thursday from 9:30 to 10:45. As we get into the throw of the course, I might not require us to meet on Thursdays just because I know that you guys are on you're in self-organization and automation mode. You know where everything is located. You know where to go to get your readings. You've read your readings. And then we may not meet every Tuesday and Thursday, at least for any length of time. But what I'll try to do is make sure that I'm available to you guys, and sometimes I'll just sit in the Zoom session on Thursdays if I do decide later on, excuse me, let me admit to your fellow students, if I do decide later on to only meet on Tuesdays. But where you can access the meeting link for our course is over here on the left where it says Zoom meeting link. If you guys are unable to access the course via an app called Zoom that you can download to your PC or to your cell phone, then what I have done is I've created an announcement that gives you an invitation link to our meeting, and it includes a phone number and a dial-in password and meeting ID that you'll be able to use to join the course. The bottom line is that the main link to this Zoom meeting, it looks as if most of you have been able to get in here today using the Zoom app, is going to be over here on the left. Now, your weekly readings in social entrepreneurship, these are the weekly readings that you are going to have to complete in order for you to do the end of the week subject matter based questions are going to be here. Your weekly readings in social entrepreneurship can be found in a couple of places. It's under your content tab. I think you guys saw that earlier. Under your content tab, you got your weekly readings in social entrepreneurship. But just to give you another way to access it really readily, then I've put that link over here for you on the left. That final course project that I told you that you guys will have to do, which is a social impact assessment, where you're going to evaluate the social and financial feasibility and really quality level of any nonprofit or social enterprise that you choose, then the instructions for that assignment can be found here. And the instruction for that assignment can be found on your syllabus, and you can also access it under the content tab, which I have told you guys about earlier. Okay. And actually what you're able to access here are some project resources that will help you complete the project. All right, so the next really important folder that you can access is going to be your assignment drop boxes. Your assignment drop boxes go over every assignment that you're given throughout the semester. Actually, your social impact assessment instructions are under the assignment Dropbox tab, and it tells you exactly what I want you to include in that assignment. And we'll go over that in detail a little bit later. But your assignment Dropboxes tab is here, and then what you'll do is you'll actually complete your assignments and upload them here. I'm going to change it to student view so you'll be able to see what it looks like for you. It's a little bit differently for you than for me. Click on assignment Dropboxes. Everything that you have to do for the whole semester is here. And what that means is that when your midterm is due, if you've actually completed all of the readings prior to the due date that the midterm is due, then you're able to complete the midterm. You're able to move ahead in this course based on your level of progress. If you feel comfortable being able to complete the midterm because you've already completed all of the weekly readings early and all of the weekly assignment readings early, then you can go ahead and complete your midterm as well. Same thing with the final. You really are in control of the pace through which you move through the content in this course. Does anyone have any questions for me so far? I do see that a couple of people joined us just a little bit after we had started, and then all I had done before you guys came into the class session is I had just gone over how you can navigate the Blackboard course shell, and I just went over how you need to regularly check your announcements, how on the content tab you're able to see your weekly readings in social entrepreneurship, and then also access some resources that will help you with your course project. And then I mentioned that you have your syllabus here and that your syllabus may be updated periodically. And if it is updated, then I will put the date that I updated it here. I do not anticipate making any major changes to your syllabus. If I make any major changes to your syllabus, other than date changes or minor modifications, then I'll send you out an announcement that indicates such. And then here's our Zoom meeting link for our class for each week. If you have difficulty accessing Zoom via the app or that's on your computer or on your cell phone, then I have a Zoom meeting info link here that gives you guys instructions on how you can access the Zoom meeting via phone. And that's essentially it. I also went over assignment drop boxes, which told everyone where you can submit all of the assignments that are due for this course. This course doesn't have that many assignments. Some of you guys are seniors, and so if you're graduating, then you'll also have me for COBU 400. That course is your capstone course. It has many, many more assignments. And what that means, though, is that you have many, many more opportunities to bring your grade up. So in this class, if you get a 0 on one of the, I guess, 10 to 12 assignments that are due over the course of the semester, then it can really have a significant impact on your grade. So it's important for you to make sure that you actually complete all of the assignments that are due, excuse me, and that you do so by the date that they're due. That's really important so that you can make sure that you don't end up falling behind in the course. And then you also want to make sure that you don't end up really unprepared for your midterm or your final assessment. Studying and preparing for that are really based on you having read the readings that I've given to you before you take those assessments, and then you should be prepared to take those exams. Does anyone have any questions for me on what we've gone over so far? Are you here with me? Someone say something.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning, Donna. Good morning, Jenna. Is this Nija and Destiny? I see you.
Yes. Good morning.
Okay, good. All right, good morning. All right, so let me just give you guys the opportunity to introduce yourself to the class. Since we've got such a small course, I can do that for you guys. Everyone tell us obviously what your name is, and then what your major is, and then what you intend to do once you graduate from VSU. I'd also like you to tell us why you took this course in social entrepreneurship. Whomever would like to may go first.
Good morning, guys. My name is Dinah. I'm a senior, of course. This is my last semester. My major is business management, and after I graduate, I plan on attending VCU and pursuing health administration. And I took this class because I don't really know too much about this subject, so I figured it would be a great way to, just learn about something new.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Donna.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Destiny Blunt. I'm a senior, just like Dinah. I'll be graduating this December. Business management major. On campus, I actually work at the police department.
Okay.
So kind of doing 2 for 1. And after I graduate, I kind of plan to get involved in a government job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually looking into graduate programs, especially the number one school that I'm looking to join is William and Mary at this time.
Okay.
And I decided to take this class because I felt like it would be kind of cool to kind of learn more about entrepreneurship, not just like the basis of it, but because it says social entrepreneurship. So it's kind of giving like a little more in depth of how that can help me either network or when I want to have my own business or help somebody with their business.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Destiny. And I live here in Williamsburg, so William and Mary is maybe 8 minutes away. In fact, one of their facilities is right outside of my neighborhood. So.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Williamsburg, so that was kind of like one of my schools to go to. And then I moved up here to Chesterfield.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. And so what type of graduate program are you thinking about pursuing there?
Well, actually, tomorrow they have a webinar that I'm registered for. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking for either the business analytics program or just the business administration program. Both are online. So just getting more information. And the information is coming from current students and former students. So just kind of be good to kind of figure out exactly what I want to do as far as the programs that they have there.
Okay, very good. All right. What you're going to want to do if you pursue, and this applies to all of you guys, if you pursue a graduate degree and you're not already working in a field. See, when you pursue a graduate degree and you're already working for a major corporation or a government entity and you already have a pretty clear career trajectory, then attending a graduate program really just helps you to be more effective in your job. But if you are going to attend it right after graduating and getting your VA, then you're going to want to make sure that that graduate program has good placement in place so that you're able to get a job after you finish that degree. A master's in business administration is a practitioner-oriented degree, and I got mine when I worked full-time. Actually, at the Virginia Pilot, I was in charge of sales management and specialty publications for the Virginia Pilot, which is the major newspaper in the Hampton Roads MSA, which is the largest MSA or market here in Virginia. That's actually mostly or all of Virginia. You know, you've got the Northern Virginia, DC market, but it also includes large parts of Maryland and DC. So I always say Hampton Roads is the largest MSA, followed by Richmond. And so when I pursued the MBA, because I was already working in corporate marketing and advertising, then it was really beneficial. So, you know, you mentioned that you wanted to get a government job. So I don't know if you're interested in public administration, master's degrees, or anything like that also, because they tend to have really good preparation programs and then coinciding placement for their graduates, whereas MBA programs are less focused on placement and more focused on training. Does that make sense? Are you here?
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I know all of this because I am developing the MBA program for VSU. And
I heard
so,
that you all were having a graduate program.
right,
When is
it's
that
good.
planning to start?
Well, that's not going to start. I'm not trying to sell that to you, just so you know. I didn't do that as a plug because I don't want to delay your entry into the workforce. Our program is being considered for approval by the SHEV, which is the State Department of Higher Education right now, which means that should be about a year before they give us a green light or a yellow light or whatever they want us to modify. So I would encourage all of you to pursue other graduate school opportunities, either at VSU or elsewhere, until then. But when you get your graduate degree, try to make sure that it is in an area that you know you want to work in, and you have to make sure that those entities have excellent placement. I was going to mention that VCU has, I've heard of some decent public administration. I know that they've got healthcare administration, and then also I know that they typically also have really good counseling master's programs post graduation. I'm not sure about George Mason, um, but William and Mary obviously is an excellent school. But you choose your graduate schools based on the subject matter you want to pursue, and then their ability to get you what you want. Do you understand? So when I went to get my PhD from Rutgers, see, when I went to UVA for my undergraduate degree, and so that's different. You need your basic undergraduate degree in order for you to have a good grasp of a particular subject matter, and really for you to just become really knowledgeable of the world. When I went to get my MBA, it facilitated my current position that was in corporate advertising and marketing. But when I went to go get my doctorate degree, when I went there, I wanted to make sure that I would be able to uh, get a job in my field immediately after I left. Do you understand? Paying me what I felt I was worth. And so I think that you just have to think about those things. Does that make sense, Destiny? And
Yes, thank you.
Dinah,
Yeah.
sure, and Nija and Jenna, everybody. But that was an aside. Let me get back on track. I still have two other students who have to introduce themselves to everyone.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Naja Amos. I'm a senior and business management major. After graduation, I plan on building a mobile shop, hair salon. I'm a hairstylist,
Oh, wow.
so that's my plan. And I chose to take this class just because it sounded like it would help me throughout my journey after graduation.
Okay, now you've already taken the MGMT 444, the Introduction to Entrepreneurship course, right?
I believe so. Yeah. I think I'm taking it this semester.
Oh, you're taking that this semester too? Okay. So that course is going to help you even more specifically with your mobile business. By the time you finish that course, you'll have been able to come up with a financial plan and a product price list and, uh, uh, basic strategy, mission, and everything for your company. This course is really a course where we're going to learn about organizations that are primarily committed to engaging in social good. That's still good for you. So we're going to really analyze the effectiveness of nonprofits and social enterprises and the impact that they have on society. And we're going to go over the concept of sustainability for those sorts of organizations, meaning that they have the financial health and societal impact that's necessary for them to continue to exist. So that's mostly what we'll talk about in this course, but it'll still be interesting for you. And you will have to think about how any business, even those that are considered non-profit, still have to be profitable in order for them to be able to continue to survive and do what they like to do to help society. All right, so I've got, I believe, one more student. Is it Jenna?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Jenna Mitchell. I'm a senior psychology major. Um,
Hmm.
what I plan to do after college, my undergrads, I'm really in between decisions right now, so I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I take this course because I'm a entrepreneurship minor, and
Okay.
I have, like, I think as Nigel said, I plan on opening a salon. I have a business right now, so I plan on opening a salon in the future.
Okay, that's excellent. And so here's something I'd like to say to a couple of you guys who've indicated that they would like to start their own business afterwards. And so I think that you having a business degree is going to help your business be very successful, or much more successful than somebody without such a degree and without training. But I also want to encourage you guys to um, understand the value of your degree in that it has some flexibility and fungibility for you. It offers you that, and that you could work for another entity for a period of time in your field or in a related field, and you can gain even further expertise that will help you when you run your business. So, for example, I worked in corporate marketing and advertising for about 8 years or so, and then I started my own business, and I worked at the Virginia Pilot newspaper, and I was in charge of, um, initially I was a marketing analyst. So I just spliced data, and I looked at economic data and marketing data and provided that data to the major corporations that were coming into the area so that they could formulate a plan that was based on the Virginia Pilot's portfolio of products, which included at that time um, WVEC, which is the ABC affiliate down here, all of the specialty publications that existed in the free racks, all the real estate and publications and free, or most of them. And then obviously the flagship product, which was the newspaper at the time. This is when people still read the newspaper to some degree. And what I ended up doing is getting promoted from that to handling small to mid-sized retail accounts for the Norfolk area, and then for the Chesapeake area. And then I was a senior real estate sales executive and in charge of specialty publications, like one called Homeorama, which is a major home publication. And then we also did Home Search and Real Estate Weekly, which was in the newspaper. And I ended up having about a $2 million account list. I think it was 1.6 something million account list. And so what that means is that I was in charge of developing marketing and business plans for a whole bunch of different companies and helping them identify the best media vehicles for them to choose in order for them to succeed, in addition to recommending our products, obviously, and selling our products to them, our Hampton Roads, uh, .com website, our, Pilot Online website, all of our variant publications in addition to the newspaper. Then I also made some recommendations for media buys and other vehicles for them. And then when I ended up going into my own business, because I got promoted to handling our largest, half of our largest real estate accounts. They're called classified accounts for the newspaper. And then handling our real estate specialty publications like Homeorama, et cetera. Then I went into real estate, and it was during the heat of the real estate market. And within a couple of years, I was the sales rookie of the year for the entire Hampton Roads Realtors Association, which has about 6,000 agents. And I also was able to be in the top 50 for the largest real estate company in the market, which was called William E. Wood at the time. It's called Howard Hanna now. And I handled really Remax. I had Remax. I had Goodman Seeger Hogan. I had Rosenwumble. I had William E. Wood. Uh, some other people handled Prudential Decker, handled all the major real estate companies, and that was really useful in helping me to be successful. So I knew how to read, or to develop a budget and a financial plan and a marketing strategy and implement it. And then when I went into business, I was wildly successful. But part of that had to do with timing. So it was opportunity meeting preparation. But just so you guys know that there is some utility in you having your degree. So don't always rule out working for other people. The other thing that happened is the real estate market crashed. We all know this. And so when the real estate market crashed, it really hurt the top agents more than it did just people that were selling real estate on the side. So I had employees and a staff and a whole bunch of other things. I owned multiple properties by that point, and in addition to selling and listing. And so it was really challenging for a period of time. But because I had, an undergraduate degree, from a good reputable school, and which is what you guys will have, and also because I had an MBA that my job paid for. So my MBA, which is probably about, I don't know, about $20-some thousand at the time, my job paid for that for me because I had those degrees. Then when the real estate market crashed, I was able to apply to a PhD program and then get a PhD. And so, I could make six figures again, but not quite the money that I used to make, but certainly have a good life for my kids and my family, my husband at the time. And so, I'm just telling you that there's some utility for you in having a degree. Now, when you do get your education in business, then you are able to make more money typically than people who don't have a degree in business. So even at VSU, if you're a business school professor, or if you're a science professor, or an engineering professor, then you make more money than the people that are in education and typically in public administration. But that doesn't have to be your only reason for pursuing a particular career area. Just know that you just want to choose something that you really want to do, choose something that's going to offer you utility for what you want to do. And I also want to say it's okay to not know for sure what you want to do when you graduate from your undergraduate degree. I started out, when I went to UVA, I was a pre-med major. That's actually why I got accepted and went there, because my mother was trying to make me be a real doctor. I'm a fake doctor now. And and then I changed my major to American government. My mom and my stepfather at the time were in law. And so I graduated from the University of Virginia with a bachelor's degree in government, which is a good general purpose degree. And then I ended up, I had planned while I was there to go into working for the media, because I had worked for the major newspapers when I was at UVA. So I started the first Black student newspaper at UVA. And I also worked for one of the two largest student newspapers. There were two student newspapers there at the time, and it's a big campus. So it really was something that was used by the faculty, staff, and the community as a tool to read. We don't have one at VSU. And so I ended up going into thinking I was going to go get my master's in journalism when I graduated. But what I realized when running the newspaper and starting that newspaper at UVA is that I had developed some financial management skills, and I had developed some marketing skills that I would not have gained if I worked for just as a reporter. And then also found out that reporters made about half or less than half of what marketing and advertising salespeople made. And so I ended up going into that field, and the Virginia Pilot paid for my master's in business administration. So just know that there are many ways for you to ultimately get where you'd like to be in life. Use your degree as a tool that can facilitate you having multiple opportunities in addition to being in entrepreneurship. And if you're going to go get a graduate degree, make sure that the graduate degree is going to offer you some significant utility. I'm marketing our degree program, our MBA program, as a training program. I wouldn't market it as a, a program that you pursue in order to get a job post graduation, because typically MBA programs don't really initially place students. It's almost like an executive program. Even if it is for younger students, uh, there's some sort of career preparation that they usually have already had before they pursue it. So anyway, that's just on the side. Let me go ahead and go over some more of the core content for this course. I told everybody over here on the left where you can access your syllabus. I've already downloaded it. Now I'm going to open it up for you guys. Okay, so this has just got basic information about our course. Just tells you that we're going to meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then what we're going to have is, obviously, we've got online class meetings. And then the link for our class meeting is already in our Blackboard course, as I've shown it to you. If you're a business student, but all of you guys sound like you're good business students, but of course you have to pass this grade with a C or higher if you're a business major. All students, though, I'm sure you'll do well also. Jenna, I know you're a psychology major, but you want to make sure that you pass the course with a C or higher. Your textbooks for this course, you don't have one. I've just given you readings. I've given you academic journal articles to read and some other readings, and I've placed them on Blackboard for you. So that's all that you'll need throughout the course. And I just want to describe the course to you. So we're going to talk about social entrepreneurship, which is a rapidly developing and changing business field in which businesses and nonprofit leaders design, grow, and lead mission-driven enterprises. And these aren't just mission-driven enterprises that have an economically based mission. They have a socially based mission. There are blurred lines between nonprofit enterprises, government, and businesses. And so it's critical that business students understand the opportunities and challenges that exist in this new landscape, particularly since a lot of the social services that are typically performed by governmental entities have increasingly been defunded, and social enterprises, which are in business primarily to solve a social or redress a social problem, are extremely important. This course is designed to give you an overview of social entrepreneurship, which is a venue for producing social benefit through a variety of organizational structures, including nonprofit, which is the most prevalent one. There are some for-profit social enterprises and even some hybrid business models. Through guest speakers, case discussion, lecture, and student presentations, this course will allow you to explore this field. And ultimately, what you're going to be expected to do is to develop a social impact assessment for a social enterprise. So let me make sure I change that from a business plan, because I did that one year, changed it to a social impact assessment for a social enterprise. And because the field of social entrepreneurship, believe it or not, is interdisciplinary and in its infancy, then this course is really going to be multidisciplinary in nature. And so we're going to look at some sociology-based theories and research, and we're going to look at some government administration-based articles and research, in addition to some business-based articles and research as we explore this course. So once you're finished with this course, then what you'll be able to do is you'll understand the field of social entrepreneurship and the many opportunities and challenges and issues that face social enterprises. Then you'll be able to understand the difference between a social enterprise, which exists primarily to solve or redress a social ill, and a socially responsible business that primarily exists to generate profit, but that may also just so happen to be engaged in doing something positive for society that they do in addition to or to augment their business. You'll also understand the relationship between social problems and social entrepreneurship. Essentially, these types of organizations only exist because of our fallen world and because of the need for some sort of organizations to redress social problems that emerge. You're going to be able to learn the different types or forms of social enterprises that exist. And then you're going to be able to generate and evaluate innovative ideas when confronted with a task or problem, which is a general business and entrepreneurial skill. Then you're going to be able to develop a social impact assessment for a social enterprise, identify best practices for social enterprises. And that's essentially what you're going to do in this course. And when you look at the center pages here in your syllabus, you're going to see information that's related to our accreditation, where we talk about how what we're going to go over is aligned with our accreditation standards, etc. You can look at those if you like, but it's not going to be so consequential for you in you actually completing this course. Your grading scale is here, and the subject to change is pretty straightforward. You've got individual topic-based assignments, you've got discussion board assignments. All of those are worth 40% of your grade. And that's why I told you it's so important for you guys to actually finish your assignments. In this course, you do not have as many assignments as you do in some others. And because of that, a 0 in any one of those categories or any one of those assignments can really impact your grade. So it's important for you guys to make sure that you complete all of your assignments. Your social impact assessment project is going to be worth 20% of your grade. Your midterm is worth 20%, and your final assessment is worth 20%. Does anyone have any questions for me so far?
Yes, in the beginning you had said something about a contract that we had to like sign.
Oh, I'll show it to you. And just so you know, it's at the end of your syllabus, so it's really straightforward. Let me just go to it and show it to
Okay,
you.
I was looking for it on I thought it was on Blackboard, but okay.
I can pull it out and put that there for you, but it's at the end of your syllabus.
Okay.
And all you guys have to do is to just fill this out. And what it does is it gives me your contact information. It's probably more important this year than it has been in other years, just because I won't get to see you in person. And so if something happens and, you know, maybe you need my assistance or in general, we'd like to contact you. You just need to fill that out and make sure that you've read the syllabus also and that you've agreed to everything that we talk about. That was a good question.
Do you want us to email that page to you?
No, what I did is I gave you an easy A assignment that you'll be able to find here. And I actually will upload it for you. It looks as if the box is closed. But I gave you an easy A assignment where you're just going to upload it to assignment drop boxes. And for simply completing your course contract, which is the easiest assignment you'll have all year, you'll get 100A. So you're going to want to upload it here. I'll give you guys a box for you to do it. I'll open the box. Right now we're under student preview, so even the ones that I have that are there that might be closed, you can't see. But I'll make sure that after this course, I'll make it available to you. It's a good question. Does anyone else have any other questions?
So for the assignments, for the weekly assignments, is it going to be a tab for like questions we're supposed to answer, or?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a really quick gloss over of your course project, but I'm going to get to that and I'm going to show you where you're going to find all of your questions. Your syllabus is probably the most important document for you for this course because all of your weekly assignment questions are on your syllabus. I'll just show you where they are right now. So for example, for this week, then your online introduction questions are posted there for you on your syllabus. And then also your topic-based questions are on your syllabus. You see this? So what you have on your syllabus, and we'll go over that in a minute, is you're going to have your week, so you'll know what week we're in, whatever the main core topics that were activities that we're engaged in for that week. Then you have the readings that you're responsible for that week, and then your assignments. And over on that fourth column for assignments, you're going to find whatever questions are necessary for you to answer that week's reading. For example, on week 2, then we're going to be defining social entrepreneurship. So what is social entrepreneurship? And then what we're going to do is you've got some videos that you need to watch that are about Muhammad Yunus and Grameen Bank, who is one of the founders really of the social entrepreneurship field. And he's also a practitioner who was engaged in social entrepreneurship in Bangladesh. And then what you also have is you've got readings here that are listed for you. So what you'll do is you'll watch those videos, you'll read these articles that I have over here for you, and then you've got questions that are based on those. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep. So what you've got is you've got readings for each week here, and then the questions that you need to answer based on those readings are here. Okay. All right, well, we'll go over that in greater detail as necessary later. But you've got this course social impact assessment. This is your course project. And what you're going to do here is you're really going to dive in deep and analyze the operations and the fiscal responsibility of an existing social enterprise. So let me just read this to you here. So social enterprises are often engaged in providing multiple social, environmental, and economic benefits. And it's really important for them to maximize the social value that's created from their activities. And they also need to make sure that they are generating enough revenue in order for them to be financially sustainable. So social impact is the effect of an activity on the social fabric of the community and well-being of individuals and families in that community. And so when you engage in an impact assessment, it enables social enterprises to really define and demonstrate and advertise the benefits that they afford to society when they're bidding for contracts or selling their goods and services. So when you are completing your social impact assessment, it's going to be important to find appropriate indicators which are relevant to an organization and its core activities. So for example, if you guys choose to analyze the Red Cross, then you're going to be analyzing how many blood donations. That's going to be an appropriate indicator for them. How many blood donations they were able to facilitate receiving in a year. You're also going to want to be able to identify how much disaster relief and how many people they aided in disaster relief and how many regions perhaps they touched in terms of disaster relief, both domestically and abroad. Those are going to be appropriate indicators. And then with every financial entity, which a social enterprise is too, every business, then you're going to need to analyze their financial operations. So have they been profitable or have they not been profitable recently or in the years for which you're able to obtain their financial statements. And every nonprofit organization, it gets a designation from the IRS to generate profit without taxation. And because of that benefit that we've given to them, in fact, our code actually, even though we say nonprofits and we've given them that name, they are still required to be profitable. In fact, the tax code, our laws say that organizations that are engaged in publicly beneficial activities or public inurement have the right to generate profit without taxation. So anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to be able to access their IRS tax reports or some of their financial statements via the databases that I've given you guys access to, because nonprofits, because of that designation to generate profit without taxation, have got to report to the federal government their financial activities. And the federal government obviously has to make that information via the Freedom of Information Act available and freely available to us as American citizens. So you're going to be able to see whether or not the Red Cross is actually at risk of losing revenue, they didn't generate as much in donations as they normally would. They have a excessive spending in some areas. You'll be able to actually analyze that, and then that will enable you to assess their sustainability. And that's part of what this impact assessment does. So students will complete a social enterprise impact assessment for an existing organization of their choice. And students may contact their chosen social enterprise to obtain information that can facilitate your project, in addition to you engaging, obviously, in research online. A copy of your product or your project may be provided to the organization upon completion, and that's typically when you're going to be doing a social impact assessment for a regional or local organization. Here are some databases that I have for you guys so that you're able to identify some social enterprises and nonprofits. All of these resources that I've given to you have thousands of social enterprises, from very large reputable ones about which we all are aware to smaller ones, and they have some level of financial information about them. You're also able to go to those organizations' websites, but you can identify a nonprofit organization to choose from these databases, or from just your own knowledge of regional or local social organizations that you'd like to analyze. And then what you're going to do is you're going to do this. You're going to engage in an impact assessment where you analyze the following specific areas. You're going to do a values and mission assessment. And I have given you guys very clear questions that you're going to want to answer. And so I have, what are the organization's mission, vision, and values? That's something that you'll be able to readily identify when you look at their website or other resources that you're able to identify through research. Then you're going to also answer, how clearly are these articulated? So you're going to look at their mission and see if they're an organization that's committed to disaster relief and blood donations. If their mission is clear, does it say what they are and what they do very clearly? And are they actually engaged in activities that are aligned with what they say that they are? So the good thing about this social impact assessment is I've given you an outline for you to complete, and you should use the questions that I have given you guys to prompt you for each section as your subheaders in your outline, and then you're going to narratively answer the questions that are provided for you for each section. So after your values and your mission assessment, then you're going to look at your program design efficacy. And so what we're talking about is, how well is their program designed? So first you've got to identify, well, who are their programs designed for? So the first question that you got to answer is, who are the organization's intended external beneficiaries? So that means, who are the people that they're trying to benefit? So with the Red Cross, for example, the people that they target for donations and who they advertise to are often entirely different than the organization's intended external beneficiaries. So it's going to be people that are in need of blood transfusions, obviously, and the people that are experiencing some sort of hardship due to some sort of disaster. And so what you're going to do is identify where the organization's beneficiaries are located geographically, because that will give you some geographic bounds for you to study when you're completing this impact assessment. And then you're going to identify what the organization's core programs, products, and services are. And so you're going to do all of this first. You're going to do the what's and the who's and the where's, which are simple to identify, so that ultimately you could answer that last question, which is, after you've read about the organization and all the things that they do and who they're intending to reach and where they're trying to reach these people, you're going to answer, how well do these serve the needs of their intended recipients or beneficiaries? So you're going to really assess, okay, so really, how well are they doing that? And this is why I gave you some suggestions or indicated earlier that the metrics that you're going to use to assess the organizations are going to be different depending on the organization that you choose, and different, obviously, depending on their core programs and product activities. And so, or their core programs and products or activities. So you're going to really look at how well, for example, do the blood drives that the Red Cross offer serve their intended beneficiaries, which are blood transfusion recipients. And so you'll be able to identify research on how many people actually receive blood transfusions from the Red Cross. How well do they serve the needs of their intended recipients or beneficiaries in terms of maybe their disaster relief? So then you're going to do some research on, how people be able to be impacted, how many people they were able to impact, etc. Do you guys understand that? No?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Sure. External recipient benefits. And so every one of these sections is pretty clear. But then you've got some measure of the tangible and intangible benefits that are created for the beneficiaries. So number of training hours or employment offers obtained, post-training for a job skills training program, maybe for some people that have been in prison, or with the Red Cross example that we've been using, number of people that they've helped, and number of meals that they served, or number of clothing items that they've distributed, or etc. You get that. Community engagement. And what you're going to do is you're assessing essentially their advertising and their public relations activities and their ability to engage the community stakeholders with the activities of their organization. So the whole section is really a measure of community awareness and public engagement. So I give you some questions again to prompt you. So what community geographic region primarily benefits from the organization's services? To what extent? Is that community aware of the organization's efforts? And you can gauge that in some ways by their level of marketing in that geographic area. For the Red Cross, it's national. To what extent is the public engaged with and supportive of the organization? And you've got variant ways that you can measure that. It can be measured by publicity, partnerships with other local organizations or regional organizations, support from local, regional, or I guess the Red Cross's case, national organizations, etc. You're going to analyze their volunteer force, their human resource force, and you're going to literally answer how many volunteers they have, and then you're going to assess their financial sustainability. And so you're going to answer how they generate revenue. Are there prices that they charge if they offer products or services to generate revenue higher or lower than other organizations that they would be competing with? Is the organization financially sustainable? You'll be able to look at their financial statements to establish that. And then does the organization appear to have the ability to retain sufficient cash to offer all of its services, pay its expenses, and invest in its future sustenance? So that's essentially the guts of your social impact assessment. And so there are some examples of social impact assessments that I will post for you guys that other students have done in the past. But the outline that I've given to you guys is pretty clear. All right, so there are a couple of assignments related to this big assignment. So you've got a final social impact assignment that's due at the end of the semester. So you have all semester to do this. It's due on November the 15th. But you've got a draft of it that's due on October the 13th. And then what you have is something called a social impact assessment update, excuse me, that's due earlier on. It's going to be due on September 8th. And with this one, I'm really just trying to make sure that you've already identified a social enterprise for you to analyze, and that you are preparing yourself to engage in the research that you'll have to engage in later. So for this social impact assessment update, you're just going to submit the name of the company that you've chosen, a link to their website, a single paragraph summarizing what that organization does for society and why you chose the organization, and then a phone number and or email address of a contact person who can provide you with the information that you need to complete this assignment. So if you've got a national organization, you can literally just list their national organization headquarters phone number. If it's a local or regional organization, then you would include their local or regional information, obviously. And then you want to be able to provide to me for that assessment update is proof that you're able to locate financial statements for the financial analysis section of this assignment. And so you're going to want to give me a link to their publicly available financial statements, or to their ProPublica page that lists the amount of revenue that they've generated over the last year, or their GuideStar profile, or their charity navigator profile. All three of these websites have financial information about the majority of social enterprises or nonprofit organizations that exist in the U.S. And so you'll all be able to get that information. I wouldn't ask you for an assessment of it if you weren't able to gain access to it. So do you guys have any questions for me about that assignment? Okay, so go ahead. Does someone have a question? So the assignment has to be 6 double-spaced pages. Don't freak out over that. That just means it has to be 3 single-spaced pages. That's all that is. So if I were you, I would start it out as single-spaced. And just know that you just need 3 pages. It'll be very easy for you to get that. And you'll ultimately end up with 6. And that says not including references, but so not including references. And then you've got a separate Dropbox for each component of this project. So the draft assignment, the final assignment, and even the social impact assessment update has its own Dropbox for you to access over in Blackboard. It's under assignment Dropboxes. Does anyone have any questions for me about that assignment? Okay. All right, so just some guidelines. So professionalism, just excellent written communication is my expectation of you, and it's really society's requirement of you for success. If you miss or get behind on your assignments, you're responsible for consulting the syllabus and Blackboard and catching up. You should be punctual in your assignment submissions, but let me just say this. I accept all late assignments throughout the semester, and then I only assess you a 5-point penalty per week for late assignments. So it's impossible for you to fail this course unless you decide you want to fail it. Unless you don't submit your assignments, and if you really tank on all of your projects and your midterm and final because you didn't read or complete your weekly assignments, that's the only way for you to do poorly in this class. You already have everything that you need in order for you to work on the assignments. All your readings are there, all your drop boxes are there. I've just got to add that one for your course contract, which is not related to course content, but it's just an A that can average into your grade. Just make sure that you submit all of your assignments on time. If you don't, I'll accept it late. You never have to ask me. And there's just a 5-point penalty per week, but it's in your best interest, obviously, to just get it submitted as soon as possible. You're going to want to make sure you complete your discussion board assignment readily. It's available for you to already do now. There's obviously no unauthorized collaboration or plagiarism that you should engage in throughout this course. Let all work be your own and be original. And then obviously you've got to have some technology. I thought it was really cool if you letting you use your financial aid to buy a laptop. I thought that was pretty awesome. That's something that school should have done years ago. And it would have ensured equitable access to material for students. But anyway, you guys make sure you use your money to buy a laptop if you need that. All assignments are to be submitted electronically, and you're going to not email them to me, but you're going to upload them to the appropriate Dropboxes that I provided for you in the assignment Dropboxes folder. You're going to use my email as the primary mode of contact for me, but my cell phone is listed for you in case there's an emergency and you need to talk to me or ask me a question. Since I'm not in the office and accessible to you during regularly scheduled office hours, then you have my number. And feel free to text me first to make sure that I know that it's you contacting me, and then I'm happy to speak with you on the phone if you need me. And then here's your weekly schedule of assignments. And so for this week, then what you have to do is you got to complete an online introduction assignment and a course contract. That course contract is not listed there for you to have to complete, but I'll add it momentarily, and I'll also add a Dropbox for you. It's always good to do that assignment because it gives you an extra 100 just for filling out your contact information. In fact, what I'll do, I'll just put this here now. And then each week, everything that you're going to need to do is going to be here for you. The only assignment that I believe I've given you guys that is not under assignment drop boxes is the discussion board assignment. So that discussion board assignment is located under discussions. That's it. But every other assignment that you need to complete is located under assignment drop boxes. Does anyone have any questions for me so far?
Yes, I have a quick question. When we do answer the questions for discussion board, so I see that they're kind of very specific. I apologize for the background. I am at work, but
it's fine.
For when we do answer the questions are very specific. Like for the first one, it says, "What is your major?" So when we post our discussion board, do you want us to include the question that you said, "What is your major?" Then we answer it, or do you just want to say, number one, my major is business management, and then number two, yes I have, or no I have not, and then explain?
For that assignment, then you can just do 1 through 5. That one is not as consequential. However, when you are answering your topic-based questions, there is some utility in you copying and pasting the actual questions and then just providing your answer afterwards. That makes sure that I know that you were answering the right question. Periodically, students will forget to answer a question. I have also in the past, and I know that wouldn't happen with you. You all seem like extremely conscientious and hardworking young women. But, I've had people to just put to number it for the number of numbers that are there and then just put anything. So I do think there's some utility in you copying and pasting the questions and then you answering them right afterwards. That's a good question. But for your online introduction, it's not so consequential. You can just say,
I understand.
Yeah.
I know some professors, they're like, no, well, you put my question in there and then, raise this, and I don't want this. So I just wanted to make sure that I follow how you critique our work.
Sure. No, I understand that. I'm a little bit more flexible, I think, probably than some of the other professors, but I'm also kind of anal. I try to have everything laid out for the whole course at once, and I try to give you very detailed instructions in your syllabus, which means mine is probably wordier than some of the other syllabi that you get, and so just answer. And as far as answering the questions, just answer the question. I don't have a certain length that I require of you for your answers. I just want you to have an accurate answer that's based on the readings. There's going to be some variation for some of these questions. There is a very specific definition for social entrepreneurship, but there are going to be some areas where you are able to answer based on your opinion. It's almost by default because you're dealing with some kind of social science-based questions for some of these. But there are, in general, very specific answers that you'll be able to find for a lot of these things. So, for example, define social entrepreneurship. What is entrepreneurship? I give you those definitions. There's a whole PowerPoint that I give you on how social entrepreneurship is different than CSR. Wicked problems is a very specific thing. It's a formal term. So when I ask you what are the 3 characteristics of wicked problems, well, you're going to want to read that article that I've given to you guys. And then what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to answer that question. Excuse me. So those are good questions. Just answer the questions directly. I do think you should copy and paste all of your questions. You can do it within the Blackboard Dropbox, or you could do it in Word. I would do it in Word and then upload it so that Blackboard doesn't time out on you and you lose all of your work. That happened to me early this morning. Where all of my work was lost because Blackboard had timed out and I was working within Blackboard. So make sure that you do that. But everything for the whole semester is there for you. All due dates, everything is listed for you there. And you don't really have to wonder when anything is due or even wonder what the description is of the assignment that you've got to complete. Tried to give you guys details on that as well. Do you have any other questions for me? Okay. So over the next week, then we're going to be working out a few kinks. I'll be able to make sure that there are no date and deadline errors that exist on your syllabus. You're going to be figuring out how to organize yourself and access all of your assignments and schedule this class around all your other classes. I understand that. But really for that reason, I want to make sure that we meet in person or via Zoom rather for the next couple of weeks at the very least. I think that after the next couple of weeks, depending on the level of engagement that I see amongst all of you, we may go to just meeting on Mondays. But for now, just anticipate meeting every Monday. I'm sorry, not Mondays, meeting on Tuesdays. But for right now, just anticipate meeting every Tuesday and Thursday from 9:30 until 10:50. Any other questions for me? Okay. All right, guys. I am looking forward to this semester with you guys. I'm sure you'll do fine. The information or the readings are actually quite interesting. I think you'll enjoy them. And I am available to you guys if you have any questions. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. You
Okay.
guys have a good day.
You
All right.
too.
Yeah.